afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television as well. Charter Communications is channel 182 on Charter, as well as Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can go directly to the webpage on Abundant TV as well. It's abundanttv.com, and you can download all of their fantastic shows they have there. Or better yet, just go ahead and get that Roku stick and you'll have a good time. We're going to get right into how to wire wrap a stone, and I'll show you. I started just done some of the preliminary parts to it right here, and maybe a found stone. Valinda Miracle with Miracle Pottery is one of my friends, and every time I go to her place, I just start looking for leaves or branches or stones and things like that. So I found this stone and I just thought it was really pretty. Now you can use an epoxy glue and go on ahead and start the process. And I went on ahead and put this up there as well, and that's so that it can be on a chain. And so I'm going to show you how to do a real pretty wire wrapping technique. It's so super easy to do. As a matter of fact, this one belongs to one of my customers. I've got to get this to her. But all I did, I just used a little, and you can use anything, but I just use these little gears that you can find. You know, you can find them online. And so what we'll do is we'll do the wire wrapping technique, and you're going to see how super easy this is to do, and it's just pretty, and it just does a professional job. Now with this particular necklace belongs to one of my customers. I went on ahead, and she loves fancy smancy. She likes lots of bling and stuff like that. So I went on ahead and added some beads to that as well with hers. But for this one, for Valinda, what I think I'm going to do, I've got a piece of leather, and I just think that would look super good on that leather. Another thing you can do, this is a technique that works really well. You know, this is a belt bracelet I made a few days ago, and you guys saw me make this. I found the bracelet, or it was a belt, found the belt at Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, and it's beautiful seeing it. It looks very little worn on the inside, but it is 100% leather. And I just thought that turned out really well. Now, if it's for a guy, they may want to just wear it plain, or maybe put a cross on it. You know, that would be another thing you could do there. Or you could do something like this. You know, you could go in ahead and put this on a piece of leather like that, make a necklace out of it, anything that you want to do. Now, I don't throw anything away. And if I find a pretty belt, maybe the leather part, or maybe it's not even leather, maybe that part is worn out. See, this is a beautiful piece. It's got rhinestones on it, and the belt cost $1. The belt was worn out, but I'll have to show you that is holding up, and that looks great. That would look pretty also, to add as an extra piece to put on a leather bracelet you've made. Yeah, that would look good. I'll tell you something else you could do. You could either leave this middle part on there, or you could take it off. And this is another stone I found at Valinda's place. And look, you could put a stone just like that. Now, I like to use resin. I use the 2-part resins. Now, got to be careful with it and make sure that, you know, you don't get it on your fingers. It can cause some issues, some slight irritations. Make sure you wear gloves. But I use resin for a lot of things. Now, let's go ahead and get started making this bracelet. Got all my tools handy. I like this tool. Now, this is something Phil he put this on here for me. And, you know, it's a pair of pliers, and they're really, they're old. I don't know how old these things are, but they're the perfect pliers for jewelry making. And if you're working with wire, especially the thinner wire, this one right here is a 28 gauge wire, and it's non-tarnish and tarnish resistant, and it did come from a department store, a local department store. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see, this wire is getting just a little bit, see how it's kind of, it's hard to see. Maybe with my hands, no, that's not going to work either. But it's getting a little bit, not frayed, but it's getting bent. You can fix that with these pliers. Because, you know, when you store your jewelry making tools and whatever, when you do that, things are just going to get a little bit wrinkled up sometimes, especially if it's wire. So this is what I do. I'll go ahead and put that wire and smooth it out with these pliers. Look at there. good as new. And I'll tell you something else you're doing. When you do this, you're work hardening your wire so it's going to hold up to more. Because people like me, I'm like pretty rough on jewelry. So let's go ahead and do one more strand. Now, I have the habit of just leaving it on the spool. You can do it any way you want to. If you wanted to cut it, to me it kind of holds in place a little bit better this way, but if you wanted to cut it, make sure you cut it long enough, you know, so it's going to do its thing. Now this is how you get started with this. You want to put this part, you've got your little strip in the back. And so see what I've done, I've put this little piece right here in the back. And that just gives me a little bit of holding power. And I'm going to go through this and put it through that way. Okay, but you got to have something that you can hold on to. And again, you don't have to do this, but I like to put a little bit of glue on the back of the stone. And a bit of the glue on the back of the stone kind of does wonders as well. I'm going to move a few things out of the way. And I'm going to put the camera down so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. We'll be going into a commercial break shortly, but I want you to be able to see the technique. Okay, so let's go on ahead and go down just like so. Okay, here's the technique. So what I'm going to do, I've got this started right here at the back. I've made a little tail, and show you this way. So I've made a little tail, and I put it here at the top part. That's going to be hidden right there. So that's down at the back, but it gives me something to hold on to, and then that way I'm doing a much better job also with my wire. So let's bring it around this way. And I'm going to put it through and then hold it to the back. There we go. Now this is how you get started. I'm going to go in just about every fourth. It just depends on how you want to do this. I'll tell you what. Let's just go on down here. Okay, so I've got it started in the gear. Again, these little gears are real easy to find. You find them online. Just type in gear. You can, if you make as much jewelry as I do, you can get them by the bulk, which is what I do. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just pull. See, I pulled that down just as tight as I could. See, I pulled it down tight. I'm going over to the next gear. See that little gear movement right there? And then I'm going to the next one by that one. Okay, I'm going to wide it back around again. I hope you can see what I'm doing, depending on the lighting here to be really well too. Okay, so there we go in this one. I'm going to go back over and make sure you pay close attention. So now we're going to start getting around. This whole thing is going to start making sense in just a few minutes. Okay, so I'm getting around, and then I want to hold on to that wire, and then I'm going over to the next little gear piece. All right, it's about to start making some sense now. Okay, all I'm doing is skipping over to the next little gear piece right there. Okay, so you can see what it's doing now. It's beginning to make a little pattern there. Okay, again, I still have my fingers in the back holding that original one. I want to hold everything in tight place. All right, here I'm going around. See, all I'm doing is just going around in little circles, like so. I'm going across the stone, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. It just turns out so pretty that way. In the meantime, see, the wire's still on the spool, like that. I'm going to go ahead and take some of it off. Okay, and to get the real good wire, you know, I mean, it depends on the look that you're trying to achieve, but I like to get my good wire. Okay, and again, this is tarnish resistant. And again, I'm going over to the next little spot there, and I keep just winding it around and around so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm about ready to go ahead and turn loose of the back, because I think I've got that really secure by now. Okay, let's go on around. And if you've got a flatter stone, see, it works a little bit different when you've got a stone that's got, see, a little bit of bulk to it. See how that goes right there? Okay, let's go on ahead and wind back down again. And pay really close attention, okay? And here I am. I'm going back and around again. Now I'm still on that very first one. And I'm probably just going to do one layer. That's all it's going to need. Okay. Make sure you pay attention now to what you're doing. And paying attention and talking to you is two different things, I've got to tell you. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. All I'm doing is going around the little cogs, okay? Pay close attention to what you're doing. All right, here I go again. I'm going around again. I'm looking for the next one that I haven't wire wrapped, okay? And again, make sure you do a tight hold on it. Okay. And there I go again. And by the way, you can wire wrap around anything. Okay, and I hope I'm keeping it in place for you, because I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing and doing this at the same time. Okay. One thing I like to do when it's just me here and I can count, I know about how many of these little loops I'm going to have to make. It gets a little bit tricky now once you start getting to right here where this part is. Okay, let's go ahead and get some more wire around. Okay, and here I go again. I'm trying to remember the last place I went. So let's go right here and over to the next little cog right there. See why it's so important to hold everything in tight place. Here I go again. I'm going around to the next one. See what the design that this is beginning to take? That is beautiful. And again, this is like a simple wiring, but it looks like it would be so complicated. Okay, and I'm going to my next one right there. Here I go again. I'm going around to the next one and around to the next. See, we just keep going like that, and I'm going around. Now I'm getting pretty close to the end. Okay, and I'm keeping up with what time it is because I'm going to have to go into a commercial break too, but I won't go into a break until I finish doing this because I want you to see how far I go, okay? Okay, there we go. And you can see that beautiful design it's making around that pretty stone. I think Valinda's going to like this. What do you think? Think she's going to like it? If she don't like it, I'm keeping it. No, I'm pretty sure she'll like it. Here I go again. I'm going around to the next few cogs. And see, when you know you're not done yet, see how you got all this pretty design in this area, but it's not there yet? That just kind of gives you, you know that you're not quite done yet. I just love this technique. It is so pretty. I've done so many stones for people who have went on vacations, and this is what I do. Instead of buying souvenirs anymore, I find a pretty stone. Then I'll take it home and I'll make a wire wrap necklace with it. And that's something I'm always going to remember. Like this is something I'm always going to remember. This came from Valinda's place. Okay, I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and again, I'm just twisting and I'm going from one side to the next. Okay, so once you start getting to the curve, again, of the stone, it starts looking a little more confusing. Okay, I just love the way this thing goes. And you can do all kinds of beautiful work with wire. Okay, take a look at that. I love the way that looks. And if you've got a couple of wires you just like to see them, placed a little different, use your fingertips, your fingernails, and make that work. I think I'm going to go around a couple more. It won't hurt to do that. And we've got this beautiful design going. Okay. And at this point, it doesn't really matter whether you're going exactly in that same realm or not. What I want to do, I want to go on around until I get right here to this cog. And I'm there. All right. So now what I'm going to do, by the way, you have some really good wire cutters, okay? That's the one thing I won't skimp on. So let's go ahead and cut those. Cut this wire to, I'm giving it about 5 inches or so. So you're not going to use all of that. And again, the wire I used is 28 gauge. Now remember this about wire. Your 28 gauge wire, the higher the wire, the number the wire is, the thinner it is. So if I were to use, say a 10 gauge wire, it's going to be a lot thicker. But I really wanted it to be like this, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around a couple of cogs. No, I'm going to do it different. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of use a sewing technique, and you're not going to be able to see what I've done. Let me go right through. Let's go ahead and get these. See how I've been working with that wire, and it's got just a little bit bent. Boy, this is hard to do on the air. And by the way, once you've done a few of these, you'll have these whipped up so fast. I mean, it'll be done so super fast. Okay, I'm going to have to go around a few more cogs. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is wire this around just a few times. See where that little connection right there is. And I'm going to do several of those, and it just looks pretty. Okay, that's just going to give you more strength. See what I've done? Now what I'm going to do is go to the back. And see, it's a pretty design all in the back. I think that's pretty. So if your necklace gets turned around, it doesn't matter. It's going to look good anyway. We're going to do kind of like a little sewing technique where I'm going to go through some of the wires, which is very dreadfully hard to do and talk to you at the same time. Okay, let's go through this, and it doesn't matter, just pick a wire and go through it. And you're just sewing it in there. That's it. Now you can use a thicker gauge wire to do this, and if you do that, you can make a few little designs at the back as well. Okay, see how that's sticking out? I don't want that to stick out. Okay. All right. I want to wrap this around the head here again. And all I'm going to do is just kind of go in and out. Okay, I've got to cut to a commercial break so we can pay for all this really awesome stuff. I'll go ahead and run Miracle Pottery. At Miracle Pottery, each pottery item is hand-turned from durable stoneware, clay body, and non-scratch high-fire glaze. Dishwasher oven and microwave safe, our handcrafted dinnerware and bakeware will last a lifetime, staying just as beautiful as the day it was born. Each pot is signed first with a cross in thanks to our Lord, our name, and then the year. We say a tiny prayer for the receiver of each piece that they receive abundant blessings in their lives. It's not just about pottery. We're located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains near Mentone and Valley Head, Alabama. Miracle Pottery is nestled at the base of the hills at 7871 Alabama Highway 117 between Gadsden, Alabama and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Please go to our website, miraclepottery.com, for more info about our other getaway cottages. You can also call us at 256-635-6863. It's holiday time, so get ready with these specials at Albertville Foodland Plus. Grade A Young Food Club turkeys, only $1.29 a pound. Bake a pie with our Mississippi-grown sweet potatoes, only 39 cents a pound. Save money on your holiday cooking essentials this year with high-quality roasting pans from Simply Done. And save money on Food Club beans, only 2 for $1. Check us out on the web at shop.foodlandgrocery.com, where we now offer curbside service, recipe of the day, digital coupons, and online shopping. And as always, thank you for shopping Albertville Foodland Plus.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
We are back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. And thank you again so much for watching. Go to the website and download the apps. You can watch us on television a couple of different ways. Channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is local to North Alabama. You can also find us on Charter Communications Abundant TV, which can also be found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Okay, so just finished up with this wired. It's kind of like a pendant right here, and this is just a found stone I found at Belinda Miracle's place. She's in Mentone, by the way. Really easy to find. You got to go check her out. Miracle Pottery is the name of her business. So what you can do, you could just have the necklace like so, and just have the whatever chain or whatever you're going to use and just kind of put it through like this. But sometimes what I like to do is give it just a little bit more swing effect. You know what I'm talking about? So what I'll do, I'll get a couple of jump rings. So I've got this one right here, so just a little bit bigger. And I like to, for the most part, I like to mix my metals. I just grab these, but I would like to put maybe silver jump rings with this because I've got silver in it, the silver wire, but I'll just use what I've got right now. So what I'm going to do to balance it out, I'll go on ahead, and by the way, use pliers like so that don't have the ridges in them. It needs to be the smooth pliers. So Phil asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, I want some needle nose pliers that are smooth to the touch. He said, you're one weird woman, you know that. And I said, oh, and with that, I would also like to have some garden tools. He goes, you're weird. So this is another thing, another technique too. With jump rings, with jump rings, you got to, first of all, we're not going to scratch them. So I'm using, the smooth touch right here. And so what important thing you want to learn right here about jump rings? Okay, see the jump ring right there. You never pull out on a jump ring. You will just never, I don't care how talented you are, you're never going to get back into place again. So what you'll do is go side to side. Now, I like to get the heavy duty ones, okay? And you want to kind of pull in while you're doing that as well. So what I'm going to do, I want a little swing motion going on with that. So I've added that. Then I'm also going to go ahead and put it on the leather. You saw what I did. I hope I've done this correctly for you today so you could see what I've been doing. See, I'm not used to y'all watching me, everything I do. But I'm glad you are. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix this. I want it to be pretty and smooth. And again, to work harden a jump ring, you would just go back and forth. Now, we'll tell you this is harder to do when you're using smooth pliers. It's easier when you're using the others. But on the jump ring, you can go back and forth several times. And what it's going to do is work harden the bottom of that. If you ever worn a necklace, maybe, from a department store or something, and it's all of a sudden it's just, it's coming apart. The jump rings are pulling apart. It's because they haven't work hardened it. Okay, so there we are. It has been work hardened. And there you go. You've got a pennant that was made from a found rock. And again, if you go on vacations, what have you, instead of buying another coffee mug or another magnet, pick up a pretty stone and just make a pretty necklace or bracelet or whatever out of it. So I see how that turned out. I just think that turned out really good. And I like using leather and everything too. And but now I also like a little bit of sparkle as well. So I think this went on a belt that I found. Again, I told you about this earlier part of the show. This went on a belt that I found. The belt was kind of worn out, but I fell in love with this part of it. And there are so many things you can do. You can get another big piece of leather and, again, make a pretty leather. Put this on a piece of leather and just slide it through here. You can do that, or make another belt, whatever you want to do with it. Or get a real pretty stone and put it maybe in the middle of it, and make a pretty pendant out of it. That would look really good too. Okay, and of course this is again the necklace I just made. But now while Valinda and I were out just looking out in her yard, we found all kinds of pretty stones and some leaves. I thought, see, this one's a lot smaller. See, that's a bigger one right there. So I found a smaller gear. And again, you can get these and order them online and get them in bulk and they're a lot cheaper. And see, when I was talking about those little cogs, that's what you're putting the wire in. Now, you saw me put, I went through about every 15th one, I think, or 20th, and then you measure it. It's your jewelry. You make it unique to yourself. And so what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to use an epoxy. And I'd like to go on ahead and use the smooth part down on the flat on the cog or whatever you're going to use. Make sure you use the smooth part of the stone to put inside the cog. And then I'm going to use a 2-part epoxy just to get it to hold in there. First of all, your wire wrapping is not going to go anywhere unless you cut the wires on purpose. And it's already going to stay. But I like to do that. It just keeps the stone in a place for me so it's not moving around. So anyway, that's what that's all about. And I'll show you again the other one. This is for one of my customers. And this is a found stone. And I believe that's got a little limestone in it. What do you think? It looks like turquoise, but I don't think it is. I think it's more of a limestone. And again, she just found it. And sometimes you can go to places like Helen, Georgia, and they'll have a place where you can buy like a bag of just little stones. And they'll let you actually choose the stones that you want to. I've done that several times, several occasions. And so you can just buy a little bag of stones and be done with it. And also salvage around. I'm going to show you something else. So I found this. I paid 25 cents for it. And it has another bigger piece to go with. I've already made something with it. But I think this is pretty too. And there's a tiny, I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little hole in the middle. So you could actually start wire wrapping on this part right here. And you would just get your wire. And you'd want to stick the wire, go to the front side of this pendant, and stick the wire inside. So you've got a good little wire piece to hold on to. And again, that's important because that just kind of keeps everything in place. Then you would go on ahead and put your stone in the middle. I would use a 2-part epoxy just to kind of keep it in there. And then all you're doing is just wire wrapping. And you could get a real pretty stone to go inside in the middle of that. And again, put it on a piece of leather, just whatever you want to do. And I'm going to show you again. See, I've been playing around with that wire. You could get your husband's pliers. You don't have to have anything like that at all. All you can do is just get some of that, that packaging tape that's really heavy duty. You can put that around there. And again, all you got to do, save your wire. Stuff costs stuff, because of the supply chain mishaps, they say. Because of that, we're having to pay more for things. So that means you be less wasteful. Okay, so here we go. Look how that straightens that out. There you go. Looks like new. And again, you work hard in it, so you don't want to do a whole lot, or you're going to work hard in it too much. You won't be able to wire wrap. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. You can find us on television on Charter, Channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's in North Alabama. You can also find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Sorry about that. I was looking for the little button to, you know what I mean. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome.